Hi, thank you for joining me. Today I want to talk to you about an ink pen. It's more or less an experiment that I'm trying, and this is for your magic work. Now, what I generally use is the Speedball quill type ink pen, which you dip in ink. As you know, we generally use three types of ink: dove's blood ink and bat's blood ink. Certain inks you don't want on your hands, and that would be the bat's blood ink. Also, in certain instances, when depends on what the purpose is, you don't want the ink on your hands. So you want to do the writing without coming in contact with the ink, and this comes in pretty handy, and I've been using this. You can use regular ink, but that won't help like regular ink pens, but that means you can't use these different inks. And as I've been told, there's not real blood in here. It's just sort of coloring and intent, and maybe they have put certain herbs in here. I'm not too sure. So I want to forego using this because dipping it in there and getting the right amount of ink out is tricky sometimes. Depends on the paper that you're using. Sometimes this ink will get on your hands. It gets a little messy. You have to clean these off, put them under running water in order to wash out the ink, because you don't want to cross-contaminate the inks on your writings. And the best way to do that is to either completely clean the ink off of this or use 3 different ink pens. And I don't want to use 3 different ink pens. So what you'll need is a pair of gloves. You'll need the ink that you want to use. You'll need a cup, some paper towels, and one of these ink refills. This is a, should I say, some type of needle for refilling ink. Came with one of the refill kits for the printer that I had purchased from one of the little stores. That one looks a bit sharp, but some of them are much larger. Now, here's what I'm going to experiment with. It's kind of cute, and I liked it. Excuse me, I'm pretty sure there's several different brands of it, so I won't say what brand this is. But this nifty little cute ink pen is what, if I can ever get it out of there, and then I can cap it, which is gorgeous writing instrument, and weight it really nicely. So I don't need that cap. This is the part that I need. It comes with several ink cartridges. Sorry for the shadow. I have got new lighting in here, and I don't have to wait till for daybreak in order to use my make videos. So what I'm going to do is take the ink out of here and replace it with that ink. So what I'm going to do is just take this off. Now there's a point in here that will pop a hole inside the cartridge there. All I had to do is just press it in, and it popped a hole in it. Just want to make sure that the ink is coming out, and it is. So I'm just going to place this ink in here because I don't need it. And I probably should have placed my gloves on. And I guess there's 2 ways to do this. I can either draw the ink out. Let's see if it'll let me draw the ink out, because it's not coming out too well. There it is. Squeezing it, it'll come out. Most of it comes out. And see, it's coming in there. I just don't want to make a mess. should be able to draw it out with this. The only reason I don't want to draw it out with that, well, you can, is because I'll have to rinse this out. But that's the quickest way, is to draw it out with the little syringe. And it won't matter much if there's a little ink left in there. But I want to get the majority of the ink out of there. Okay. That's a small cartridge, so it didn't have very much ink in it. Some of the fountain pens that I've used had, these cartridges are much larger. I know the calligraphy pen, for a calligraphy pen, the cartridge is much larger than this. There, most of that is out. Just placing it on here. That's good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of the, let's move this over out the way. Well, that's why I left it on. Let me leave it on there because I'm using this tray, and that way if I have any spills or accidents, it's all caught in here. So now I'm just going to open up this ink. And I'm going to dip it down in here. And that's probably too much. I don't think I'm going to even need half of that. I'm going to insert this needle in there. And I'm holding it at an angle so for one I can see it. And there you go. See, it didn't take much to fill that up. And I'll put the rest of that back in there. Now all I have to do is place this on here. I'm so excited about this. Sorry. And I can just write. I didn't even make a mess. No mess. And don't want to put anything on this. This is a really fine tip. Yeah. Similar to this, but just a little fancier. So we're gonna see. Let me cap this up. I'll rinse these out. I'll rinse this out in just a little bit. I know I'm going to have to let this ink come down. I'm gonna zoom in. This is great. Oh, I am so ready. This is nice, smooth, and so neat. I'm not even worried about the ink. I don't have to keep dipping it into, this would be nice if I had a well, an ink well. The only problem with the ink well is it could, lately I've been knocking things over. A little clumsy. And so it would make a mess. With this, I don't have to worry about it at all, and all I have to do at the end of the day is just cap it up. I wouldn't leave it this way. Well, yes, I would. Because if you keep it tilted downward, the ink, if you keep it tilted downward, where the nib is down, the ink could pool up in the cap, and we don't want that. So what will happen is I would store it this way, in this manner, either laying down or standing up on the base. And each time I get ready to write, I would have to prime it so that it does write, which is fine. But this is very clean. I don't have to worry about getting ink on my hands. Sometimes when I use this one, I end up getting ink on my hand. Very successful, very clean, didn't make a mess. Thank you for joining me. Pick one of these fountain. It's a fountain pen. Pick one up. I'm pretty sure you can get those at. They still sell those. Some of them can be quite expensive, but the feel is really nice, and all it will do is just going to help in your magic work. Thank you for joining me. Until next time.